challenge of taking all these steps all at once, because all these changes happen back to back in a short amount of time, and moving to New York is a huge
Yeah. Yeah.
step to begin with.
Yeah.
You haven't lived in New York before, right?
No,
That
not
was
no, not before then. No.
So how was the experience? What was the most challenging thing that you experienced when you moved here?
Um, I think it's let me know if this sounds like a cop out. Like, I think it was an emotional thing. I think that the act of doing it was so difficult. Like, I come from a family of people who treasure stability. In the generations previous to my parents, there was, and this is true of my wife too, there's a lot of non-ideal parents, and a lot of instability, and people, not necessarily the most reliable family members. And so my parents, when they formed their little nuclear family, they were like, we're gonna be here for the kids. The kids are gonna have a stable environment. We're gonna encourage them, and thank God. And this is not a criticism of that at all. But I did end up I ended up the type of person to this day who might not take those leaps, who might not make those choices, who I very much like. I like the safety of home. Like, if I get something worked out. I remember when I moved to New York, I had a series of day jobs. It was while you get your stuff worked out. And because of my psychology coming from when I was a kid, I would get into those jobs and I would treat those jobs like a career. Like, I lost a job once and was like devastated. Was like, I lost a day job once and was like, wow, what am I gonna do to their jobs? I failed these people and this and that. And part of it, as you can hear, is just the vision of my wife. My wife Dana is like, has looking out the windshield a little bit better of the car, of putting these things into context and saying, like, no, things can be risked. No, things can be. You can you can have a life that's in the middle, where I'm like dedicated to my kids and give my kids everything, but being a parent isn't my only identity, and same thing on the opposite side too. Here we are, we're going to move the family to New York, and it's like, when she was in grad school, I worked longer hours, and then when I was, like, when I lost my day job, she had a real job, and we do a good job of holding each other up, and like
Yes.
being always having one of us always has one hand on the rope.
You
But
were a
this
team.
Yeah, to this day. And but the ability to do that, the ability to kind of choose the unsure path, or to say to your wife, like, I am going to spend some of your money on comedy that neither of us thinks is good, or like, I'm, we're gonna this family, we're gonna invest. I got a house full of camera equipment, and all these scripts, half done scripts and things like that. That's things that my family's kicked in for. That it takes a lot. I've come a long way to be able to live that life and, like, accept that, the support, accept that love from my wife. Whereas, like, to me, it's much rather like, you owe me nothing. I am nothing but entertaining. I'll tell you jokes all day, and I'm super, and like, the dishes are done and all that stuff. To try and live a life where there's no question, where there's no, where you never have to ask anything of anybody. And so, yeah, and so the ability to, you say, what was the big jump there? I think the jump was the ability to kind of imagine myself trying, imagine myself, or pursuing, like, following a path that I kind of invent, rather than just trying to say, like, you and I are square. My parents and I are square. I work very hard at school. My wife and I are square. I'm very good. I'm a very good husband. I do the dishes. My kids, they must have no complaints. I drop them off on time. But rather to say, hey, all you people love me. It's just like in the scene. It's just like we were talking about in improv class. Can you look around at the people around you and say, I'm going to try something. I'm going to walk out on stage and I'm going to do X, and I don't know if it's going to work, but will you at least be there with me? And the ability to do that in a family or in a relationship or in, a friendship or things like that is a skill that I didn't grow up with. I think that's why I find this also fascinating, is because, you can ask, you can depend on people, you
You
can,
can.
you can expect, you got to find those people, you got to find that situation. But once you, like, the people who love you, the people who are prepared to forgive your flaws, that's a treasure, and when they do that, that's a miracle. And to be very closed off, or to be very like, well, I'm just gonna like stay as safe as I can, I'm not gonna ask anything from anybody, you're kind of ignoring the beauty of the world around you. Like, you can be offered love, and that's a trick. The tricky is, it can be hard to get to that point. But then it's a skill to be able to say yes. Like, we're going to be 50-50 partners in this thing. Of like, of course I'm there for you, and to let people be there for you is something that I've come to know over time. And it was in making choices like that, of like, partnership choices, moving together, all the stuff that happens in a marriage. Over, it's funny. I say it even now. It's like, I think, yeah, I guess my wife really loves me. And it's, I'll be in a situation and I'll be like, oh yeah, that is a good friend. The friend was just there for me, and I had to move this thing, and they helped me move the thing, and they're not mad, and and all that stuff. And so to be able to perceive support, to be able to perceive, to take chances and say, you know what, this is going to work out how it works out, and we're all going to stand there at the end of it and be okay with each other. Like, that's a world. I thank God I found that world. Thank God, and I try to cultivate it with other people too.
This is priceless. This is priceless. Good for you. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You have, and then you co-founded the Carbonated Films
Yeah.
production.
Yeah.
So what was the story behind that?
Oh, well, I mean, I've done every kind of comedy adjacent work there is in the world. I've had the strangest jobs and a million of them. And, but this is actually a good one. Geez, I forget the years now, but UCB had a digital arm. It still does to a certain extent, but they had a, like, UCB comedy was going to be our online sort of presence. And they formed these teams, these digital production teams. And I was on one with made a very good friend named Lizzie Bryce, who's an amazing writer. She's directing. She's on the film circuit now with short films. She's really, really great. And we worked together on this team together, and she produced some of the stuff I wrote, and I was in things, and we, learned to make a video together. And when that wound down, we looked at each other and we said, wow, I don't know, we could do that for money. Like, we enjoy this thing. We enjoy video production and writing and, doing things with people. And so Carbonated Films was just a way to say, we still have a camera. What if we, what if we made some commercials for people, or, low budget videos, or help people with their web series and things like that. And so we did it. We wound down the actual company. I think technically ceased to exist a couple years ago, because it's
Okay.
working out the taxes was more work than it was worth, and we just have the camera right there anyway, and you can just pay us in cash. Um, so yeah, and we don't, and quite frankly, like, we've also found other stuff to do. She's got a lot going on, and I'm doing all this stuff, and so Carbonated isn't such a huge piece of what we do, but we're always there. We're always like, it's always a possibility. And we've done great stuff. I mean, we're doing great. We've had great fun days shooting awful stuff that I hope never sees the light of day. And we also, I was talking about my friend Claire. I don't know if I met her, but I first worked with my friend Claire. We put together a beautiful web series she did called "Your Hair
Oh,
Looks Great Today," where it was like affirmations for people, and it was, but like, smart and like a funny way, very empathetic, very human. And that was like one thing we did, and all these other, like, we made a video for Major League Soccer one time about how you can watch things in Spanish. It was just fun. It was like, let's take these things we do at the theater and just do them on our own. Uh,
lovely.
yeah, it was great.
What was the biggest lesson that you learned from that experience?
I think, well, you know what? I think it was a lesson that I kind of had to learn, was that people do want you to say what's up. People like, you can, once you, and maybe you say this in class too. I'm a very polite guy. I'm a very deferential guy. Like, I don't want to tell anybody what's going on. But if you're in a situation as an instructor, or if you're a producer who's like getting paid money to, deliver 25 short films, in 6 months, it's no crime to say it's going to be like this and not like that, and I'm the comedian and you're the customer, and you're paying me money because I'm funny and you're not, quite frankly. And like, it really, that is another sort of piece of like, I don't know, success, or of my personality that is, I've had to grow very deliberately over time, is the idea of accepting authority, accepting.
Mm.
This is another parenting. This is a good parenting lesson too. Of, my kids are funny and my kids are fun, but they also want someone to be in charge. Like, it might be tough getting them out the door and into the car in the moment, but a system where you know what's going on and you are the authority, and there's a relationship there, and it's not my way or the highway or any of that stuff, but be the dad. And and Carbonated Films really taught me that too, of like, well, the check cleared, now we got to film this thing. If I have to tell everybody that we're running late, then I'm that guy. Then I'll be that guy. And again, it's like, it's the same thing of like, what I'd rather do is have nobody possibly be offended by anything that I said. Like, I'll just accept whatever's going on and do that thing. And it's like, no, you got to step into these spaces sometimes where, if you're such a genius, okay, you be in charge. And those times have been great times. The stuff I've directed, things I've worked on, times on set. I love being on set. But it makes me own up to, like, if I'm the ones who handed out the business cards, then I'm going to say, do it better, do it facing this way, or else we're not going to get it. And that's been a great lesson for me.
Very good, very good. I'm sure we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I want to know how you perceive and navigate failure, and how do you teach your children how to manage failure? What do you teach them about that?
It's funny. It's funny you say this. One thing that's happening now with my family is I have two sons, 9 and 13, and they started taking piano lessons, and they really took to it. They're very good on the piano. And this piano school, they only can teach people after school hours. So they
Mhm.
have all these teachers who are sort of just sitting on their hands during school hours. So if your kids get piano lessons there, you can get super cheap parent piano lessons if you just have it during school hours. So both me and my sons are all learning the piano at the same time. And I'll see my older son especially, he'll be practicing some, he'll be playing the piano, and he really cooks, especially for his level. He's like, he knows just what to do. But when he gets to an error, he'll be like, ah, he'll do something wrong. And I'll say like, no. And then I'll start over and start doing it again. And I'll just go back to him, and I'm like, I understand that impulse to say that failure is not acceptable. Success, you're aiming towards success. You don't want to fail. So when you mess up, yes, like, let's learn from messing up. But what if it was just a little bit okay? What if having made a mistake, what if being a first year piano student involved a little messing up, and that was like part of the process? And so, like, this is the thing you're asking about is very much a live topic with us. And I think the way you do it, and I hope this is the way you do it, the I think the most important way to do that, and I think it comes up in class and definitely comes up with my kids, is you model being okay with failure. Like,
Yeah.
I like that especially with this piano thing. Like, I just play like a guy who just started taking piano lessons, and they see me not be ashamed, and not run up and down the street playing my mixtapes. I think you can very much model the idea of quiet self confidence and self acceptance of like, here's the thing I'm trying that I've never tried before, and so I'm not going to be great at it, but that's part of the adventure, and you can enjoy doing something new without being the best at it. And
I love
so I'm sure, I wonder if I talked about it with you in class. One point I'm always making with students is the great what was it? This great quote from Ira Glass. Did I bother you guys about this? Ira Glass is he's a radio producer. He produces This American Life, and they do a lot of sort of interviews. They do great radio journalism. And he was being interviewed once about how you get good at being in radio journalism. And he made this point that I think is true. It's certainly true in my classes, and I think it's true in just generally. Is he says when you're working on a skill or whatever it is, you decide you want to take improv class because you know what's funny. You've watched funny stuff, and so you're like, oh, I wish I was funny like Amy Poehler. So good. So you sign up for the improv class, you get into the thing, you start doing scenes, and you say, oh, what I do is nothing like what Amy Poehler does. And you are in this gap where you are failing your own tastes. You got into this because you have goals and heroes and you know what success looks like. And when you start out, you can't get to that spot. And the ability to sit there, the ability to move and to do something that you are not expert at, or the ability to do something where the doing of it involves failure, or the doing of it involves vulnerability in front of other people, is a tremendous skill. And it's only by crossing that gap, it's only by being able to work on things that disappoint you, that you ever get to the other side, that you ever move up that gradient. And so yeah, I think that like the fact that the fact that with my kids, I'm like silly and self-deprecating, like it's like when I say it's time to go to bed, it's time to go to bed. Nothing like, I wouldn't apologize about things like that. But the fact that I'm like, that I don't feel it necessary to be like, I'm correct. When I'm challenged, you will fail. You will be made to suffer for challenging me. And my authority is, like that they can sense like, here's a guy trying to feel it out is okay. Yeah. I think that kind of humanity is all right.
And that's a great role model for your children to see that it's okay. If it's okay for my dad as an adult,
yeah,
therefore it's okay for me to navigate through all this. Well, we call it failure, but in fact, there is no such a thing as failure anyway. It's just
growth. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
Lessons and feedbacks how to do things differently. Lovely. Matt, do you want to do an improv exercise?
Sure. I will. What kind of improviser would I be if I said no? Yes. And
okay.
What is it?
So you are the master. I am the student. Do not set me up for failure.
Like 5% skill difference between the two of us.
Do not set me up for failure.
Yeah,
so if so you what game do we play? Let's just improv something.
We're asking me?
Yes.
Well, so I mean, we could do a full scene. What if we did? It's a great exercise that I like. Well, let's do this. Let's plan a themed wedding. This is a great warm up we do in class.
Okay.
It's so you and I
remember. Okay.
This is great. This is it's fun to do. It's easy, and this is how I said like improv should be like it's closer to being a conversation than to being a play. It's the same thing. Doing this is like if you do this plus there's like a chair behind you, you're doing improv. Okay. So you and I are going to we're going to plan a wedding. I will say, what if there was a wedding themed? What if we had to plan a cowboy themed wedding? What would there be?
I would buy gator long boots with heels.
Yeah. So on the invites, we're definitely saying black tie optional, boots not optional. Everyone's in boots, 100%.
And when the bride was coming down the aisle, I would bring my guns.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, definitely no rice at this thing. We are definitely shooting off 6-shooters when the people come down. The piano, the music should be played on an out of tune upright piano, just like ragtime thing of an old guy with a white beard in the corner. What else should we do? When we're just married, we're not leaving in a car. We'll leave on horses. We'll tie
And
some
the
cans.
groom is dressed as Woody in Toy Story.
Yep, 100%. That people know what a cowboy is. We need grandma and grandpa to understand what's going on. What about? All right, so you give us a theme. What kind of wedding would you like to plan? We'll
Frozen.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. So we got to have the ice castle kind of thing. There's going to be an ice sculpture. We got to have an ice sculpture on the buffet.
And then when the bride and groom said yes, they're gonna smash the ice cake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. We can break some ice that way. What was it? The parents in Frozen died at sea. What if there was like what if before the ceremony there was like a sad thing where we're like, oh, so sorry, the mother and father of the bride can't be here because they died at sea, and then they come in, then we'll play Kool and the Gang or something, and they can come in, and it turns out that they didn't die at sea.
And then when they kiss at the end, we play, and they won't let go, and then we play the Let It Go song.
Okay. Play Let It Go. I want to get that snowman guy in there somehow. Maybe instead of a flower girl, we can have an Olaf.
And the bride is actually skating through to the aisle.
Oh yeah, what am I talking about? Yeah, for sure. They've got to have an ice aisle, for sure. And plus that'll be faster. You get all those bridesmaids down there skate.
And everybody's gonna wear the fair coats because it's like snowing. It's very cold.
Yeah, let's see. We can have it in some sort of refrigerated facility. That'd be great.
Yes, great. Let's do another game.
What's that?
Let's do another game.
Let's do another game. All right. Let's just do a scene. Let's just do an improv scene, you and me.
Somebody give us a suggestion.
Somebody give it. I hope. The suggestion is what is it? It's Mercury retrograde. I'm looking at a calendar.
What does that even mean?
Who cares? It's your scene.
Okay. Honey, I have absolutely no idea. I did not book that restaurant tonight. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's our anniversary. Oh, I thought we were going to go out. That's okay. You're so busy. Thank you for, you know what? If we had gone out to dinner, we would have been spending your money anyway. You're the one with you got a big corporate job. I should have booked the dinner. I'm just sitting around. My skateboard design business is still mostly up here. So thank you. It's a little bit my fault that we did it. We don't have dinner reservations, but still happy anniversary. I don't know if we should exchange gifts. I don't know if I saw that big package came. I saw you got one of those bows that goes on top of a car in like a car commercial.
I did, yes. I know because I have promised you before we got married that I would cover all the costs and all the bills and all the, and I bought you that Range Rover that you always wanted since you were a child.
Thank you so much. Like, you know what? It feels good. What a symbol of your love.
I mean, if I don't do that for you, who else is going to do that?
That's a good point. Same thing with the clothes you buy me and stuff too. I got you something.
Okay. I
designed you a skateboard. It's not an actual skateboard. It's just a design. It's like a PDF. It says our names and the date we got married. I know you don't skate. I've been asking you for years. Hey, we got each other vehicles. That's nice.
How blessed am I to have a husband like this? I mean, I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I booked you that trip to Mars for next weekend.
Oh my God, I always wanted to go.
Always, in your sleep, you always talk about going to Mars. And if I can make it happen for you, who else? That's why I work day and night. Even during sleep, I work. I have an AI twin clone who works for me because I want to give you everything that you want.
But before we were married, my friend said, propose to that girl immediately. You'll literally never find, like, almost to the point of like, what's wrong with her. And thank God, because we get along so well. It's weird. I got you a trip. I got you a trip too, a little bit. Um, I made you. I made you this coupon that you can take to the bodega. I talked to the bodega guy. I know you
The
like to get.
bodega with the cat?
Yeah, of course, the nice bodega. This is our anniversary.
Are you
So
serious?
it's like a sort of a gift certificate. It's an informal thing. It's just written down on a slip of paper. But if you go over there, they'll get you a coffee and some stuff.
Coffee. Oh my God. This is beyond sweetie. I am so happy for you. For me. I am so happy for me.
You say these things. You talk about how much you love me, and part of my brain wants to be like, why or what? But I'm not going to say that at this moment. I'm not going to respond to love that
Why
way.
would you even doubt yourself? I mean, have you looked at yourself in the mirror?
You make a good
Why
point.
would you even doubt yourself for
We
a
truly
second?
are equals. It's true.
I mean, we're not really as equals, but we are in a way, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to say this. I wanted to save it for your birthday, which is in a month.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want this to be in the same, night of our anniversary. But I actually put that down payment for the yacht.
Oh my gosh.
That you wanted, but I wanted to give it to you in a couple of, in a month for your birthday. But hell, now that you are just showering me with all this love, I might as well.
I don't even. This is ridiculous. It's been my dream to pilot a ship and to have a yacht and stuff. And the fact that you know me, I don't tell people that kind of stuff. I don't have a job. I design. Like I'm not going to tell people.
You don't need to. Why would you even need to?
Why would I even need to? And here's the thing. Once again, great minds think alike. Because you got me the Range Rover, and I got you a skateboard with no wheels. And you got me. I'm going to Mars next week, and you're going for a coffee. And then now you got me this yacht, and listen,
You're blushing. Sweetie.
I know. Well, I don't want to brag. It feels giving gifts is hard because you have to sort of be like, how special am I? If you look in the fridge, there's it's not a 6-pack of White Claws because I had 2. There's 4 White Claws, and I hope we can split. Maybe we could split them 2 and 2.
Oh, even a bite for me would be enough. Just the. This is so thoughtful. Thank you. I love it. How did I do, Matt? Give me
A plus. You got it. You must have studied with Matt Fisher, haven't you? You show all the signs.
It was my instructor. I loved it. This was a treat, Matt. Thank you so much for making time.
You're very, very welcome. It's so nice to get to spend some more time with you. It's great to see you.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.